Hello everyone, Lawrence here from Unicorn Reviews, and I've been getting an insane amount of views and comments on my scooter. So this is the Xiaomi M365 or M187 if you have the Youth Edition. Both are the same device, it's just a slightly larger battery in the M365 model. So the answers to these questions will go for both. I've got the app here from YouTube with all your comments, so let's go over them. And if you have any new questions after this video, just post them in the comments and I'll answer them there. Okay, so first of all, a cheap way to move around. Walk, says Abel. So that's not really a question. Radri100 says that it's not a legal grey zone. Most countries have very clear definitions of different vehicles and their laws. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about. In my initial review, I wasn't too sure about the legalities of this device, and since then I've been getting a lot of questions, a lot of comments, and people saying their opinion about it. Basically, it's different for every country, and in some countries it's going to be different depending on what region you're in. So it's a very complicated matter. I live in Flanders, Belgium, which is in Europe. So here in Belgium, the rule is up to 18 kilometers an hour is fine. No matter what sort of device you have, up to 18 kilometers an hour is fine. And it's covered by your normal insurance. So you don't need to get extra insurance with it. You already have it most of the time. So it's perfectly fine up to 18 kilometers an hour. But of course, the scooter does 25 kilometers an hour. So you do technically need to get insurance for that. Now, the problem with that insurance thing is you can't get it if your vehicle isn't approved by the EU to be road legal, which this thing isn't. So yeah, it's not legal then. However, there's an eco mode. So I've been talking about about it with my insurance agent. So it's legal up to 18 kilometers an hour, and if you put it in eco mode, it will do exactly that. It will do 18 kilometers an hour. But then how can you prove if you do get into an accident that you weren't in the normal mode? So I guess it's not legal here in Belgium. Might be legal in other countries. I've heard that in Germany it's a total nightmare to get this thing road legal, or they'll just impound it. Here in Belgium, I've been talking to police officers as well. Most of them weren't sure, but you get a lot of police officers here, and none of them pulled me over, none of them stopped me or asked any questions about it. So I guess we're fine when it comes to that sort of stuff. Okay, so Source TV asks me, hi Lawrence, I believe you forgot to mention how long it takes to fully charge this scooter. How long does it take? So from a completely dead battery, it takes you about 2.5 to 3 hours to charge this thing fully, which I guess is, yeah, very acceptable. So that's that, 2.5 to 3 hours. Darren Wood says, I'm so glad this stuff is illegal here. So apparently you're not a fan, that's perfectly fine. Schwabble Records asked me why not the folding bike though, because in the title it does says why you shouldn't get a folding bike. Basically, I love cycling, I love running. I'm not a lazy person as some other people in the comments would suggest. I actually do like sports an awful lot. And the thing with cycling is it's a lot of fun if you have the right tool for the job. But a folding bike is a horrible tool for the job because it's slow, it's heavy, it's really flexy and dangerous to ride almost. So I don't enjoy riding one, which is why I don't want to ride one. Also, folding bikes don't fit in my car because I'm driving like a two-seater sports car. So that's another reason why no folding bike. Also, it's way cheaper to get one of these. And there's no effort involved with riding one. So with a folding bike, you still have to pedal yourself. You're going to get a little bit sweaty, even if it's an electric folding bike, because you're doing effort. With this, you'll arrive at work, at your destination, completely fresh. All right, next question from Robin Malik. Do you have to pay taxes when it arrived from China? So about import taxes, I got it from GearBest during a flash sale, which is how I got it for only 245 euros. GearBest offers sales on Xiaomi products all the time, so I'm sure you can get it at a similar price, especially if you sign up to their mailing list, you'll get those discounts. I did not have to pay any import taxes at all. It just arrived at my doorstep, no taxes whatsoever. And looking at the reviews on the GearBest website, no one actually had to pay those. So if you get it from GearBest, which I'm not affiliated with, it's probably fine without import taxes. Nichu Irimia asks me brake regen. Not really a question, just brake regen question mark. 3 modes of brake regen. So basically when you're decelerating, it will regenerate power into the battery. 3 levels. There's the strong one, which basically feels like grabbing a handful of brake, the medium setting and the weak setting. I personally prefer to put it in the hardest setting, the strong brake regenerative braking setting, because it's the same as braking, but you don't have to take your hand off of the grip to hold the brake, and you can just accelerate and decelerate with just your thumb, which is how I use this thing. If you want to, by the way, yeah, people also asked, what if you just want to push it along? First of all, the platform is too high to just comfortably push it along, but if you do want to do that, you have to turn the scooter off, or you will get that regenerative braking, which will slow you down tremendously. Let's have a look at a next question. How long do you think the battery will last? So apparently the first batch of products had really poor batteries, and batteries were dying quickly. It is allegedly solved now with the newer batches, so I guess it should last you 2.5 years, like about 1,000 charge cycles, just like with smartphones or e-bikes really. Let's have a look at some other questions. Why so bloody expensive, asks Tony T. Actually, I don't think it's bloody expensive. I think the pricing on this thing is, yeah, it's spot on. It's under 400 euros, even if you get it out of sale and you do get like the full model. So compared to a bicycle or public transport, this is dirt cheap if you ask me. Also, Nathan Haran asks me that he's not sure what to get. So should he get one of these? Should he get like an electric motor front wheel for his bicycle, or an electric skateboard? First of all, electric motors in your front wheel on a bicycle are a death trap. Do not get them, they're horrible. So that's not an option. Electric skateboards, I guess if you like skateboarding, it can be a lot of fun, but you're not going to stop as quickly as with this thing, and it's not going to be, yeah, as safe, I guess. I mean, not that you really need safety, but it can be fun to know that you're not going to die. Also, we finally get some sun around here in Belgium. That's awesome. Hopefully it's not going to be too horribly overexposed. Let's quickly check. Nope, we're not we're well overexposed. Okay. And as I go and sit down, the sun goes away. Awesome. So yeah, give me an update after a few months when the battery is fully dead, says Streetball. Apparently, yeah, the battery has been fixed. So that's that. ADHD asked me where I got it. Gear Best during a flash sale. And then Antimatter, the destroyer of whatever his name is. His name is too long. Almost all the problems you have with it are because you're over the weight limit. So there are, I guess, 3 main issues with this scooter. The first one is flat tires. So it is a air tire in there, so there's an inner tube. And what happens is with people who are a bit heavier, who don't really use the right tire pressures, you often get pinch flats. So what that means is you hit a square edge and the tire deforms a lot to the point where the inner tube, the little tire that holds air inside the outer tire, gets squeezed in between the rim of the scooter and also the thing that it's hitting. And at that point it will like pinch you, and it will create a hole in that inner tube. The way you don't get those is to not be an idiot and just bang it into sharp objects, or like hard square edges like staircases, for example. Or you can run higher tire pressure. So I'm personally about 10 kilograms over the weight limit on this thing, so I just run it at a higher tire pressure. So I run mine at 5 bars, even though it's only rated at 4 bars of tire pressure, but that is a way to get around it. Other people are complaining about the electronics. Again, I guess if you are really overweight and you run really low tire pressures, there's again a lot of stress on this device, so it can maybe overheat the electronics, but with how chilly it is here in Belgium, that's probably not an issue whatsoever. And the next issue is the headset, or not really the headset, but the pivot point. You have to like constantly adjust it, especially at first, because the paint or the coating kind of wears off and there's a little bit of play in there at that point. So you will have to adjust it a lot the first month. Or you can go online and you can buy these plastic spacers to put in between, or a bit of foam, and then there won't be any play in that pivot point whatsoever. Muscle Duck says nobody could tell me 100% sure if you need insurance or a license plate or not. So the thing is, you can't really get insurance without a license plate, and to get a license plate you need that conformity paper, apparently. I don't know the exact English term for it, because it again varies from country to country, and it doesn't come with one of those, so you can't really get insurance on this thing, which is why you should always ride it in eco mode, at least in the city. Like right here next to the water, you can blast around at 25 k's an hour, no issue, but here in Belgium just leave it in eco mode, just to be sure. Toma Kukor actually gives a really nice comment. So I have both an e-scooter and an e-bike, and he uses the scooter to get around his town, and then he uses the e-bike when he has to go further, and that makes perfect sense. So when I go to the store in my town, I quickly grab this thing, or when I visit family in my town, just grab this thing and I'm there right away. I don't have to go get my bike and a helmet and all that sort of stuff. I just get on, get going. And then for longer distances you can get like a bicycle, so that makes perfect sense. Lookout Leo asked me if I've been stopped yet. No, perfectly fine. I've gotten a lot of weird looks, especially from police officers who were just sitting in a car doing like speed trap stuff. They were looking at me like, what the hell is that kid doing? But no one ever stopped me, so I guess we're fine. Let's have a little bit further of a look. So a lot of people are asking, like Leopold here, why you shouldn't buy a folding bike. Again, they're not fun to ride. Folding bikes are the worst type of bike ever, so that's why. Adnan Alush asks me, how can I not fit a folding bike in my car? Again, Mazda MX-5, dude. We don't have a trunk that's big enough for a backpack even, so yeah. How well does it handle tram tracks, says Anton. So city train tram tracks. Obviously it depends on the angle of attack. So if the track goes this way and you hit it like so, no issue. If you're going to hit it at a really sharp angle, obviously it's going to go wrong. Your tire's just going to get stuck in there. The tire is 2 inches wide. A tram track is also about that, so you are going to get stuck in there if you like cross it at a very slight angle. So you can just hop that front wheel over. It's quite easy to get up on the back wheel with this thing. So yeah, if you're not being an idiot, you're probably fine. Alright, so member Home asks, what about uphill? So I don't know if you can see here in beautiful Belgium, we don't have mountains and we don't have hills, we definitely don't have mountains, but there are some inclines. So getting up a bridge is possible, like a normal standard Belgian like bridge is doable. Anything steeper than that isn't. So about a 5% incline will work. Anything more than that and you should just get off and walk, because it will be faster at that point. It's only 250 watts, so that's not an awful lot of power. So yeah, getting up steep stuff isn't possible. Bridges are fine. Anyway, any idea how to park it safely against theft, says Budi Mulyanto. So the app comes with a lock, and you can lock the app, or you can lock the scooter using the app, at which point if you move it, it will start making a lot of beeping noises. And yeah, you just need a PIN code to unlock it again, really. You could of course also just use a bike lock. Like, yeah, there are spokes in the wheels, so you can just put a bike lock through the wheels, hook it up to something, and given that like all the screws are well hidden, no one's going to steal it if you really lock it up. I personally just park it somewhere, lock it with the app. Don't really care too much, to be honest. Cyrix Black says, the bumpy ride made it horrible to... Oh, that's a lot of sun. So the bumpy ride made it horrible to use. Again, that depends on tire pressures. So if you're a really lightweight person, run lower tire pressures. If you're heavier, run higher tire pressures. Let's adjust the exposure once again. Oh, it's somewhat fine. No, we're overexposed. Okay. Yeah, Arif Rockman says less fitness points, and I've got that comment a lot. So it's healthier to walk, it's healthier to ride your bike. Yeah, perfectly valid arguments. However, it's faster than walking and it's more comfortable than riding a bike. And I honestly prefer to get home really quickly using this thing, get dressed, get on my mountain bike, get on my road bike, and go for a ride. I prefer that a lot to riding a bike to work, because that's just the worst. And then you have to shower at work. Ugh, horrible. Someone else, Thomas R, says, as long as it only goes up to 25 kilometers an hour, it's perfectly legal to ride. Again, depends on the country that you're in. Comedy Man says, this is not as comfortable as a bicycle, plus you look like an adult with a teenager's mind. Basically, the thing that separates the men from boys is the price of their toys. That's like common sense. But it's actually way more comfortable to ride than a bicycle, I think. You're just standing up. You can use your ankles, your knees, other joints, as well as the bit of suspension in the tires to deal with bumps. You're standing up perfectly fine. You're not sitting on a saddle in like normal office clothes. So I think it's more comfortable than riding a bicycle, to be honest. But you get a like anyway. How well does it do on big hills? Horrible. Like, it just doesn't do big hills. That's, yeah. How much does it take for it to charge? Says Pier Paolo Bilotto. So it's a 5,000 watt, a 5,000 amp hour, milliamp hour, so that's 5 amp hour battery in there, which runs at 38 volts. So let's call that 40 volts to charge it. That means you can get 200 watt hours of electricity in the battery, which means for 1 kilowatt of your electricity bill, you'll get 5 charges, which is like a week of riding for, in Belgium at least, about 20 cents of electricity. So power bills aren't going to be affected by this thing at all. I think roasting a slice of bread probably uses up more power than running this thing. Where can I buy one for $245? Again, GearBest flash sale. Yeah. Hi, you mentioned about 2 models. What's the other model? So there's the M365, which is the big battery one, and then there's the youth edition, which people call the M187, which is the one I have with the smaller battery. The only difference is the battery and the amount of tires you get. So with the M365, you get 2 extra different tires. I only see one model on their website. Yeah, there's just a youth edition. Xiaomi does those at a lower price, which is always nice. Illegal here in Holland due to no saddle. Again, I can't look up the regulations for every country, so you look like a effing child. Yeah, if it's wrong to have fun, then so be it, dude. I don't care. I also ride BMX bikes, so I don't care. Let's have another look. No way this is legal in Germany, of course. If the police stop you to ask what you're doing, you could say save the planet. It's not going to work, to be honest. So just make sure that in the country you're using it in, it's at least gray zone. Don't use it if it's fully illegal. That would be a bad idea. You're really boring and bland. I think that's more about me than the scooter, so that's fine. Looks awesome. I want one. Who doesn't? So yeah, again, a question about the battery and the tire punctures. Again, run the correct tire pressures. You'll be fine. What city are you in? Right now, James, I'm not in a city, but this is closest to Dendermonde, but I also been riding this in Ghent, Wetteren, Antwerp even, so we're fine, to be honest. Yeah, perfectly fine for like the typical city riding that you do here, the usual commuting. Get a WOGO. So yeah, a lot of people have been telling me to get something else instead. Like, oh, this scooter is 12 times more powerful. And you start looking at those and you're like, yeah, but this one I can pick up with one hand and it takes me 2 seconds to fold and unfold. And it doesn't look like something some weird scientist made in his garage and is now selling for a ridiculous amount of money. This thing is cheap, looks good, it's all integrated, perfectly functional. Which to me is more important than a scooter that's definitely illegal because it will do 90 kilometers an hour. Alan Carter doesn't like it when I go American. I'm sorry, Alan, I'll try and keep an eye on not going American. Again, Eon, another company. Andre Berrien says he uses one in Brussels. No police troubles whatsoever. So Brussels is about 15-20 kilometers away from me, so I understand it's probably fine there as well. Can you use the scooter manually? So again, if you turn it off, you can use it somewhat manually. Let's have a further look. No suspension, and the handlebars don't fold. So suspension, you have knees. You can move these in and out, and then you don't need suspension. About the handlebars not folding, yeah, that can be a bit of an issue. If you're walking around with it and you're just holding it like you're holding a bag, you can sometimes get the handlebars stuck behind something, which is pretty annoying. But to be honest, it's not the biggest issue, is it? Someone asking me why I bought the youth edition. First of all, I don't need the range, and second of all, why would I spend twice as much if I don't need the range? I don't need more range than this one, which will give me about 13 to 15 kilometers even, now that it's a bit warmer and I'm running it in the eco mode to get around the legality issues. And then about 10 kilometers if you run it in more normal mode at full throttle all the time. So Tom Wes asks, can I do a review of the Q-cycle or the Chi-cycle, whatever. I could if I had one, but it's €1,000 and I don't have €1,000 laying around. So let's say if this video gets 1 million views, I'll buy one with my AdSense money. But yeah, for now, unless someone sends me one or borrows me one, or lends me one, I should say, I won't be doing a review on that one. How much is a small electric milk van, David? I don't know, 30 grand, something like that. Why would you need a milk van? Yeah, and then Bikeo-matic. I'm so butchering these names, I know, but yeah, it is weird legality stuff, really. And then the Mighty Voice asked me, are you easily able to open up the scooter, see the battery, all that sort of stuff? So it's just a LiPo battery. It's just laptop batteries, really. Depending on the model, it's either 5,000 milliamp hours or 8,765, I think, on the M365 model, and they run at 38 volts, so between 36 and 40 volts. So that was it for the comments on this video. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comment area below. I will answer them below. I won't make like yet another video. But I hope this was helpful to a lot of you. Let me know in the comments if it was. And for now, massive thanks for watching. If you want more frequent updates, by the way, check out Instagram and Twitter, all linked below again. And if you want me to buy one of those competing products, there's a Patreon link, so just give me your money and I'll buy extra stuff. But usually the Patreon money goes to buying better recording equipment like microphones and cameras and tripods and lights and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, massive thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on Friday.